Good day, everyone. Today we are going to discuss an important concept in basic microeconomics, which is the law of demand. First, let us understand what demand is. So, demand refers to the willingness and ability of consumers to buy a product at a given price and time. So, this means that demand is not just about wanting something. You must want the product, but also have enough money to buy it. So, for example, you may really want an iPhone. However, if you don't have money to buy it, then there would be no demand. But if you want an iPhone and you have enough money to purchase it, then demand exists. So again, demand requires two things. First, willingness to buy, and second is the ability to buy. So if you don't have the ability to buy something, but if you really want it, then that is not considered as demand. So it should have the willingness and the ability to purchase it. Now let's move on to the law of demand. The law of demand states that when the price of a product increases, the quantity demanded decreases. When the price of a product decreases, the quantity demanded increases. So there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So what do you mean by inverse relationship? So inverse relationship is there's an opposite direction. Like when the price of the product increases, the quantity demanded decreases. Vice versa. So when the price of the product decreases, the quantity demanded increases. So that is an inverse relationship. So to put it simply, people tend to buy more when prices are low, right? And buy less when prices are high. Because when prices are low, a lot of people can afford. You have the capability to buy that certain product because you can afford. But when the prices are high, so less people can afford. So not all the people can afford. So that means that the quantity of demand may lower because of the capability of purchasing something and the affordability. So when prices are low, products become more affordable. So more consumers are willing and able to buy them. But when prices are high, fewer people can afford the product, so fewer units are bought. So let's try to look at this example. So if milk costs 50 pesos, more people are likely to buy it because it is affordable. But if the price of the milk increases to 80 pesos, so fewer people will buy it because it's more expensive. So that is just a simple logic in explaining the law of demand. So this clearly shows law of demand in action.
A demand schedule. What is a demand schedule? A demand schedule is a table that shows how much of a product consumers are willing to buy at different prices. It shows the relationship between price and quantity demanded. In simple terms, it answers the question, if the price changes, how many units will people buy? For example, when the price is 100 pesos, the quantity demanded is 5 units. When the prices decrease to 80 pesos, the quantity demanded increased to 10 units. When the price further decreases to 60 pesos, the quantity demanded increased to 15 units. This shows that as price goes down, quantity demanded goes up, which is called the law of demand. Now let's move on to demand curve. What is a demand curve? A demand curve is a graph that shows the same information found in the demand schedule but in a visual form. It shows the relationship between price and quantity demanded. The demand curve slopes downward from left to right. So this means that when the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. And when the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. Using the demand schedule, we have 3 points. The first point is 100 pesos and 5 units. The second point is 80 pesos and 10 units. And the third point is 60 pesos and 15 units. When we plot these points on a graph, with price on the vertical axis and quantity demanded on the horizontal axis, and then connect them, they form a downward sloping line. So this line represents the demand curve, showing that as the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. As the price decreases from 100 to 60 pesos, we move downward along the curve, and the quantity demanded increases from 5 to 15 units. Lastly, movement along the demand curve. A movement along the demand curve happens when the price of the product changes while all other factors remain the same. When the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases, which is a downward movement along the curve. When the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases, which is an upward movement along the curve. For example, if the price of shoes goes down, more people will buy shoes. But if the price of shoes goes up, fewer people will buy them. So to sum up everything, a demand schedule is a table, while a demand curve is a graph. And both shows that price and quantity demanded move in opposite directions.
Hello everyone. Demand means how much people want and can buy a product at a certain price. The law of demand says when price goes up, people buy less. When price goes down, people buy more. In simple words, people buy more when prices are low and buy less when prices are high. But in real life, there are times when this rule does not always work. These are called exception. The exception to the law of demand. Usually, higher prices means lower demand. But in this situation, people still buy more even if prices goes up. First is given goods or basic needs. These are cheap basic foods. Example is if the price of rice goes up, low-income families may buy more rice because they cannot afford meat or other food. Second, Vivlin goods or luxury items. These are expensive products that show status. Example is luxury watches or designer bags. Some people buy them more when prices increase to show wealth. And third, emergency situation. In emergencies, people buy goods even if prices are high. And ang best example ani is during pandemic, people buy food, water, medicine, no matter the prices are. And last is ignorance. Some people think expensive products are better. For example is a student buys a very expensive notebook thinking it's higher quality even though a cheaper notebook works the same. The importance of law of demand. The law of demand helps the businesses to set proper prices. Government plan taxes and subsidies. Consumers make better buying decisions and understand market behavior. Real life example. Gasoline prices increase, people reduce travel. And prices decrease, people travel more. And also, school supplies, sales season equals students buy more, and regular prices equals fewer purchases. In conclusion, the law of demand tells us how prices affect buying behavior. Most of the time, higher prices means lower demand, but there are exceptions like basic goods, luxury goods, emergencies, and people's belief. Understanding this helps businesses, government, and consumers make better decisions.